Back with Will and Vince here. Yesterday I saw ESPN put up a list of Heisman Trophy odds, and there in the top 5 nationally was Nico Iamaleava. I think he was at 4th. Now, he's played very well for a guy in his second year. He started 5 games. I think he's done what they've asked of him. I think you're walking around here at 4-0. You're number 4 in the country. I'm not complaining. I thought this is what you would get, a slow start from a guy who's getting his feet wet. Question is, should he be getting all this Heisman hype right now? Because I don't think he's played himself into Heisman conversation in any way, shape, or form. In fact, if there is a guy on this team who has, it's Dylan Sampson, who's on pace for about 1,500 yards this year and 30 touchdowns. I mean, he's done an unbelievable start. To me, it's Sampson that should be getting the hype, not Nico.
But it's a quarterback award right now, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of what it's become, and it's just who's the quarterback on the best team. And Tennessee is one of the best teams, so Tennessee's quarterback is going to get the love. But I agree with you. Statistically, if anyone from Tennessee, and I would argue at this point no one from Tennessee should be getting a lot of Heisman hype. But if anyone is, I would say that it's Dylan Sampson. We've just seen people who have done far more offensively against better competition so far this season. That I would say if you're going to say somebody else is top 5 of the Heisman, Tennessee hasn't faced anyone that's good enough yet. And I would also say they haven't had to be that dynamic offensively.
Right.
But if there's a person, it's Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, Will's right. It is a quarterback award. Sampson also probably won't sustain those levels of
30 touchdowns and 1,500 yards.
Yeah. With the level of competition they'll go up to. So, I think people have been impressed. I think Nico has some flash to him that really resonates with people nationally. And if Tennessee continues to win, he's going to stay there, whether he deserves to or not. Now, I don't think he's going to win, and I'm not saying he's never going to win it, but Dylan Sampson has had the more Heisman-worthy season so far, but it is what it is. So, and I know Tennessee fans are like, we don't care.
But we can all see it, right?
It's really just an entree into talking about Sampson's the star of this team so far, not Nico.
Sure.
Yeah, but we could see the potential in Nico,
Absolutely.
right? We see the way he's throwing the ball, and you're like, holy crap.
I think he's accurate. I think he's smart. I think he protects the ball when he's not getting strip sacked. To me, he's done everything that you could want him to do at this point if you go in with a reasonable expectation. If you thought he was going to be Peyton Manning as a senior and his second start, you were crazy to begin with. He was going to look like he was needing some growth. Let me go ahead, Vince, and then I'll get to my point.
No, I was just going to say he is one prolific game on national television away from rising up those ranks.
You're right.
Even if he shouldn't be there right now and Sampson's more worthy, let him put up a big game on a big stage, and he's shooting up the ranks.
Okay, and this is a perfect twist just to the end of this segment. Nico in September, I thought, was kind of what I expected for Nico in September. And on the high end, he delivered what he needed to do. Again, you're walking out of that 4-0. He walked out with a road win at Oklahoma. He went and beat NC State. Like him, don't like him, those are 2 ranked foes that are already pelts on the wall. Good enough. You're going to need more in October.
Yeah.
He's going to have to grow more. My question, is Josh Heupel wise? Because it does look like he's protecting him a little bit, which only Josh Heupel can know this. We can speculate, though, and fans can talk about it. Is he wise to protect him as he has? Do you start taking off the protective layers now, asking him to do more as you get into October? Or is he sitting there saying, boy, we could run into some dangers. You see those strip sacks? I don't know if we want to do this. Do you think he's played it right to kind of start slowly? And do you think now that you're in October, he begins to open it up a little, or will he continue to try and protect him?
I think he's going to have to add more because you can't win this way against the better teams on your schedule, right? Like you can't win throwing the ball 21 times, running the ball 50 times. Good luck. It's not going. I don't think you can beat Kentucky playing that way. I don't think you can beat
win
Arkansas.
at Arkansas doing that?
No, you don't. But you could against NC State, and I thought he would do that against Oklahoma. That he would be ultra conservative because you can. And we've been debating that all week on our show. Is the Josh Heupel has he been conservative because he had to or because he can? I think it's because he can, but also it does protect Nico and allows you to give him a little bit more each week so that he doesn't end up costing you a game.
I wonder if he learned a lesson last year. They went in with Joe Milton and tried to do what they did with Hendon Hooker, and Joe Milton couldn't do it.
Yep.
And toward the end of the year, they started to finally tweak the offense to fit more of the Joe Milton. I wonder if that changed their thinking in that, okay, we're not just going to jam somebody in here right off the bat and expect them to do what Hendon Hooker did. And therefore, they're soft selling it a little bit as they get him ready.
A number of things. One, I think they knew their limitations of Joe Milton. There were some going in. I do agree they had to dial some back because reality told you the middle of the field and slower decisions, things like that.
Yeah.
So they made adjustments, but knew they were limited. I also think they can win against Arkansas and Kentucky by running a lot more than they did, because it's what you do with those. And if you avoid the turnovers, to me, they win by several scores, in fact. I also think that Nico makes some of those decisions for Josh Heupel. It looks conservative, and we're just basing it off of one game, Oklahoma. I don't think you could say conservative going in prior to that.
Anybody who was expecting, a bunch of 300-yard games, I mean, it's been
300
more run first than passing.
300-yard half,
Well, he did.
Look at Chattanooga.
It's Chattanooga. I don't count that.
Yeah.
You're going to schedule it. I'm not going to talk about it. Sorry.
Right. But I think some of it is he's not playing hero ball. And I think so he is
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's playing into that conservative approach. But I think necessity will cause the coaching staff to change as it goes along when you're in bigger, different situations.
Yeah, very good. Appreciate you guys. When we come back, why don't we talk to Ryan Callahan about recruiting? We'll talk about the Vols had a commitment flip to Oregon. We'll discuss that. We'll talk about recruiting rankings, biggest prospects still on the board. All that next. Coming back on the Sports Source.